a lot of people talk about the, Epstein's pedophilia charges, sexual abuse charges, his ties to the finance world. But what can you tell us about the surveillance industry, his ties to the surveillance industries, including ties to Palantir's Peter Thiel?
Well, yes, Peter Thiel's another side of this. So Epstein ended up introducing, and this has been confirmed. This I reported based on the leaked emails, but this has now been confirmed from the published emails from the House Oversight Committee, which is what everyone's talking about, right? A few days ago, Congress released a big batch of Epstein's emails, but he had scheduled introductions between Barrack and Thiel, and later ended up, and Barrack describes the first meeting. Let me pull this up in my article. Um, right. So Barrack is actually talking to a different business partner who we did not name in the article. And he does not mention that Epstein is involved in this, but he just says that he's going to go meet Peter Thiel. And then the business partner basically asks, like, can you tell me more about this? And Barrack says, he asked to bring another person with him. I don't know who or why. I met him once in Davos 2 years ago. Probably he doesn't even recall it. I was told by the host of the dinner, meaning Epstein, that we will probably spend it talking just geopolitics. It's a first date. I think he's of huge potential to accelerate things by the sheer reputation he's got. No way it's a waste of time. And later on, Epstein tries to pitch this Reporty, this 911 dispatch business, to another Thiel business called Volare, and Volare ends up meeting with them and saying, and also it's very clear that Epstein has a pre-existing relationship with Volare, the Thiel company, because there's a very warm chat, and he can sort of just write, as Epstein writes these bad grammar emails, saying he wants a meeting, and then they're like, okay. But Volare says, we'd love to hear more about this in the future, but it's sort of a premature business idea. And then later, the yet another Thiel business, the Founders Fund, does end up putting money into this. So yeah, it seems to have successfully. I mean, I don't know, there's the 1, 2, 3 of how this happened, but it seems that Epstein did successfully, court the sort of Thiel business conglomerate to finance this company that's connected to Israeli intelligence via his relationship with Ehud Barak. And they were also looking at other sort of intelligence and surveillance related things. There was also another one that they discussed with this aforementioned Russian oligarch Vekselberg, who pitched sort of like AI for bringing together different streams of intelligence so you can track individual people. And it's also very interesting that there's a Russian-Israeli connection here, which is, not something that gets talked about much. And then also there was another business and this is actually one of the few people who responded to me when I reached out, because I think most people just saw Epstein in the subject line and were like, no, but this one business was called Levitection, and now it's called Scannery. Or it's the same people doing it. It was a former Iron Dome engineer who came up with a way to basically do like airport style body scans, but you don't go step through something. It's like a remote machine through the crowd. It's not clear how far along they got with the technology, but Barrack pitched this to Epstein, and I think Epstein didn't end up going through with it. And when I asked the engineer who's doing this, again, the only person to respond for request for comment, he just said that he had no idea Epstein was sort of on the other end of this.
Anything that you wanted to show on the screen from any of your articles, just let us know which one it's in.
God, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Okay, yeah, there's.
I guess we could pull up the Prince Andrew thing, because that one, the kidnapping has begun, because that one ended up being really significant. Actually, you could also show the second to last one, because I think that was a pretty good second to last one. Is Epstein just telling Barrack basically, I want to be involved in military intelligence stuff.
Okay, so set this one up for us.
Yeah, so this is just Epstein telling Barrack about his interests, and he says very clearly, like, he wants to, that he's interested in intelligence. He says that corporations are looking for a new military-like perspective in management, that he's bringing old methods to a new industry, that he's very interested in Israel, particularly for its its technological prowess, and yeah, that he's talking about. He's very interested in sort of data-driven intelligence. I mean, he's laying it out right here. He wants to be of use. I mean, uh, there's many different ways you can read this, but I think a very suggestive one is this idea that he talks about bringing old methods to new industry. Like Epstein is someone who clearly has experience as like a fixer or wheeler dealer in this world.
Right.
I'm skeptical of whether Epstein was actually like a paid agent of a specific state. I mean, I could be proven wrong, but I talked to a friend who's a historian of Cold War intelligence, and he said, yeah, this is such a familiar type of person who sort of deals with and benefits from many different states. And yeah, Israel was clearly one of them, and one that he was very close to. Okay, so the Prince Andrew stuff.
Here we go. Okay.
This email, I did not realize quite how significant it was going to be, because we just included it as sort of a, oh, look at this like other business venture that's sort of vaguely mentioned.
Right. So this is
But
from Epstein to Barrack, right?
yes, this is
Barack.
between
Okay.
Epstein and Barrack.
Okay.
So Epstein, in his classical, borderline illiterate style, writes, wealthy Chinese looking for to start personnel protection co in Beijing. Kidnapping has begun. Which is just, I mean,
No.
if I'm going to try to translate that, I think he means like there are wealthy Chinese people looking for protection services because someone got kidnapped. But then Barack asks, where'd you see it? And then Jeffrey says, Prince Andrew, who is now no longer Prince Andrew,
Right.
partly because of this
Well, he just
reporting.
says Andrew, actually, right?
Yes.
He says Andrew, and then Barack clarifies the prince. Yes. Yeah.
Well, now he's the Andrew formerly known as Prince,
Oh,
as they
that's
say.
good. Yeah. Right. So he was right. Maybe he knew that was going to happen. Yeah.
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 But yeah, so Prince Andrew had been, or just Andrew,
Yeah.
had been,
Andy. Download
yeah,
him to Andy. Yeah.
Mr. Windsor had
Yeah.
been, in recent years, he's been under fire, first of all, for his association with Epstein, and he was accused of participating in Epstein's sex abuse. Actually, one of the few people who we sort of have like a kind of uncontested, I mean, he denies it, but it's sort of, he didn't fight back in court or anything against the allegation. And when he tried to defend himself on BBC, he just made himself look very bad. But yeah, he was accused of participating in Epstein's sex abuse. And so that had been floating around for a while. And then more recently, he's been accused of being recruited by like Chinese intelligence. And so this email, which I did not realize the significance of it, just brought those two things together. And so after I published the story, the Sunday Times of Britain actually reached out to me, said, hey, where'd you find that email? Do you have the uncensored original? I said, yeah, sure. I'll walk you through how to get it. And they ended up publishing it, and it ended up being the first of a sort of setting off a chain reaction that led the British royal family to sort of disown Andrew, because, I mean, just the combination of Epstein and Chinese intelligence was not a good look. And this was also Andrew had claimed to have stopped talking to Epstein in 2010.
Right.
And then this email shows like, wait a second, he's still sending Epstein business ideas. So that's not a good look.
Wow. Yeah. That's really not a good look.